Hello and welcome to Crypto Podcast. I'm Al and Craig is no longer here, so I'm solo today. On this cast, what we generally talk about is what moves the market, a little bit of world news, our take on what's going on in the crypto market. We give out a few calls here and there, but we also have a little challenge going on between Craig and I, and we discuss that and kind of give those updates as well. So if you're new, welcome to the podcast. This is rule number 2. That's really what the focus of today's cast is going to be. We discussed in the previous cast rule number 1, which is be patient. Today, we're going to discuss rule number 2, which is have a plan. So I'll be giving out my plan for the challenge and to discuss a little bit about my personal trading strategies for my private account as well. So welcome to the cast. Let's get started. Let's go ahead and talk about some world news. Craig hates talking about world news, so this would be a great time for me to do it. Because for me, I really feel like the world events do determine major market fluctuations because it impacts the stock market as well. So, but you know, in the big scheme of things, everybody's kind of watching ETH. And the Bellatrix upgrade on Tuesday went off without a hitch, so that's really good for ETH. And looks like the next hurdle is the Paris upgrade. It looks like it's running a little bit ahead of schedule, which it was originally looking at around the 15th. So it may hit in the next 2, 3, 4 days and come through a little bit ahead of schedule. Again, if you have ETH on an exchange, it will be shut down during some of these upgrades and things. So don't freak out. Those of us who've been here for several years, when these things happen, it's completely normal. But just know that you're not going to be able to trade those during that time. So just be aware and prepare ahead of time. Let's see what else we got. Ripple looks like they could be used in some more of the CBDC landscape. They've been worked with Thailand. Oh God, there's been a couple of other ones, little small countries as well, where they've been tapped to be utilized. But maybe FedCoin, maybe the Fed will be using them. That's kind of a rumor that's been out there. We're waiting for an official announcement from Ripple, but that's pretty big news for Ripple if that comes through. I mean, think about it. Ripple has spent $100 million fighting the SEC over the last 2 years, and they're still in the top 10. I mean, there's something there. I think that they may be one of the ones that survive and be around, and I think if they can pull off the win with the SEC, we're looking at a juggernaut. So that's definitely one I'll keep my eye on. I've got a little bit of Ripple myself, but if they pull that off, I'd definitely be looking at them to go up. So I think Craig was wise on setting up his Ripple bot to do a little bit of trading and try to gain a little bit more Ripple. Cardano, ADA, the Vasil hard fork is coming up. Looks like on the 24th. So be watching them. A lot of time there's a run up before these hard forks. So definitely a buy the rumor, sell the news situation. So keep up with them. If you're looking at maybe something short term, jumping in there around 44, 45 cents right now, you could potentially hit a good 10% run up, goes up to 50, 51 cents. You can do fairly well with that. So keep an eye on that. Bitcoin, there's Mt. Gox. They still got that coming up. So be aware of that, that there's going to be a lot of Bitcoin that comes onto the market, and that could pull that market down just a little bit. Don't have a hard date on when that's going to be released, but that's definitely coming up. And then lastly, as far as in the news with us, Luna. Man, Luna Classic has been killing it. It's been on a tear. At this point, I'm not really interested in getting in. It's had a huge run up to this point, and I don't want to get in and play in that. The whales that are moving that, they make a big splash, and I don't want any part of it. Now on the 10th, so we've got 2 days from right now, there's going to be a vote on that 1.2% tax and burn. If that goes through, it'd go live on the 20th. There's a lot of support from some of the major platforms that are out there. So if you've got some Luna that's out there and that goes through, it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not really interested in getting into it right now. I foresee again in the next day or two, a substantial pullback. But it could rip up. This is one of those ones where you could put some money in now and have a really good rip over the next couple of years. I don't see it going up to $1 or $2. I mean, just the math isn't there right now. There's not that much money that's in the market. So that's the big crypto market that's out there, market news that's out there right now. World news wise, there's a lot of strife in Indonesia. There's a lot of riots that are going on over there. And then, of course, we've also got the Russians that have cut off the gas supplies to Europe, and right now they're saying it's indefinite. It's a really good game that they're playing right now because they're saying, oh, well, all these economic sanctions that the U.S. has put on us, we can't get this pipeline repaired, and we just can't do anything about it until the U.S. takes the sanctions off. So almost like they're kind of holding Europe hostage, saying, hey, if you don't release these sanctions, then we're not going to release the gas. I don't buy it, for one, and for two, maybe that means the sanctions are working. I don't know. But this is something that we talked about a month ago or so on one of the previous podcasts, as I see this as an issue. And when that news hit yesterday morning, that's where we saw that big pullback with ETH. So as soon as that news hit, that really, really moved the market. So kind of keep an eye on that. Europe did come out today and said that they would be maxing out the total amount that some of the energy costs would be. But that's all well and fine if you have the energy. But still, that money's got to come from somewhere, and the European economy is not looking really good right now. Doing this is a 2-year event where they're going to max the total cost of home energy. So short term, that probably gives some relief to the people that the price isn't going to go up that much. But are they going to have that much to stay warm enough over the winter? And then how's that really going to affect the economy? Because they're still going to have to buy it from somewhere. It's still going to have to come from somewhere. And it's still the price is still going to increase, because if Russia's not providing them, the supply from everywhere else is also obviously going to be decreasing. Therefore, the price is going to go up, and Europe all in all is going to be paying more for it. So I don't envy their situation. So anyways, let's go ahead and move on. That's pretty much wraps up the news. I'd say keep an eye on it, and just kind of be aware that some of those, if you're doing short-term trades, that those are going to be some of the events that may hit that will trigger some price movement, and that could get you caught slipping if you're doing some margin trading. So those are some of the things that I try to keep an eye on, especially things that you can foresee that is coming, like the Mt. Gox situation, the hard fork with Cardano, and then with ETH as well on the Paris hard fork. So those things you can see coming, plan accordingly, and just be aware of those. Well, I guess we can talk a little bit about. Let's talk about the challenge. So this is our update on the challenge, and this I'll kind of lead that into the rule number 2, which is have a plan. Right now we have $1,000 that Craig and I have allocated over the last 10 weeks. That is in. Our next $100 is hitting today. So before that $100 hits, I am currently at $1,513.11. So I'm up $513.11. And what I'm looking at as far as my portfolio, I've been doing a lot of margin trading. What I have allocated into of that $1,000, $482 is what I have in that margin account. And that's kind of what I've built. I've gone from $482 to $1,049. And then I don't like DCAing, but it's really with profit at this point. I'm up $513. I have bought $518 worth of assets. I hate bringing this up, but the $10 Gary purchase was a bet between Craig and I, so don't hold that to me. But I invested $10 in that. It's currently at $4. I've got Cardano, and I've got it staked right now at 6.26%. I bought 208 for $100, which my I'm currently down on it. I'm down on all of these except for my most recent investment, which was ETH on the 6th. I bought $100 worth of ETH. Its current value is $102, but I've got 9 AVAX I bought in 2 separate purchases, one on the 18th, one on the 27th, and then Matic that I bought 100 of. And again, I have it staked as well at 12.3%. So where I'm totally at right now on that DCA, on that additional money that I've put in there, that $518 is currently worth $464. So I'm down $54 total on the DCA. And I don't think that the market is done going down, but this is all really profit that I'm putting in there. So I don't really mind it. Yes, I'd be making more money if I left it in the margin, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to straddle a little bit of my risk. So kind of leading into my plan, and that's what I would like to do, is to continue to allocate roughly half of my bags into the DCA and then half into margin. But I want to keep that margin up because I'm really making money off of it to put into the dollar cost averaged long-term quote unquote portfolio for this challenge. But if you break it up right now, like I said, I've got 518 that I've DCA'd and 482 that I have in the margin. But I've grown that to $1,049. So the planning portion of it, short term, which is the margin trading, I'm looking to do small trades with it and just hit 3 to 5% on each trade and then just get out of it. Remember that if I'm doing 5x on that trade, on that margin trade, and I catch, it only goes up 3% and I get out, that's really 15% that I'm getting on that money. So it's still a really good trade, especially if it's short term. And that's what I intend to do with that. Long term, which is the DCA portfolio, I really want to reiterate, I don't think we're done going down. But if we are, I've got a little bit that I've already started to buy in this. And this is all challenge. I guess I should also talk about the rules of the challenge. The rules of the challenge, you get $100 a week that we put into our portfolios, and we can do whatever we want to with it. Craig has done pretty ingeniously, gone into bots, and I do like that idea, but currently I'm outperforming him. Of course, I haven't gotten destroyed with a bad margin trade because I've done what I said I was going to do, which was to get out. But we can do whatever we want to with it. We can leave it on the sidelines. We can load into it. We could stake it. We can buy it, short it, long it, sell it, whatever we want to do with that. But that $100 has to go into that account. So decide what we're going to do with it, and then hit it up. But on that long term, there's a couple of things that I'm looking for on what I'm going to buy. Like I said, Cardano, number 8 coin, ETH, number 2 coin, Avalanche, number 16 coin, Matic, number 12 coin. So I'm really sticking with the top 25 coins, the ones that I really believe in, that I think are going to be around. And they're also ones that I can stake, so I can earn a little bit of additional value by staking those over the long term. So even if there's a pullback, I'm still getting a little bit extra. So when it does run up, I'll have a little bit more allocated to each one of those assets. Don't really have a hard plan of a percentage allocated to each one of those. I'm not trying to do 10% or 20% or 30% in one of those specifically. I'm looking for a good opportunity to buy in. Sometimes that works. I feel like I got a pretty good price on ETH the other day. I bought it in at $15.38. However, the Avalanche I missed on. I bought it at $26, and then my second purchase of it, I bought it at $20, and currently it's at about $18. So I did not hit that one, but it's still one that I'm still looking at accumulating. Oh boy, it's hard talking when I'm just doing it by myself. I guess there's a couple more rules that I use for this. Focus on the top 25. I'm looking for a good opportunity to get in. I like to stake it, so I'm staking when possible, and I'm not overcommitting too early. So in that, I'm kind of following rule number 1. I'm not pushing in all $500 too early that I have in there. I didn't just hammer it in. I took my time. I didn't DCA up until we were already halfway through this, and I'm looking for good pullbacks for me to push in. So again, I'm following that rule number one. I'm being patient because of what I believe. I have a very strong conviction that we're really looking at November, December, or January or February before we really get down to the lows. But, I don't mind getting in at this price because I don't think it's a bad price because I've seen how high it can go. So my plan with that, again, is I'm looking really for top 25 coins, and I'm looking for a good opportunity. Some of the other ones that I have on my list, BNB, Ripple, DOT, Link, Bitcoin, Solana, and Atom. Those, Near Protocol is the other one. So those are my ones that I really want to get in at a good price. I don't think that they have quite as much opportunity to move up as what you'd find in my second tier, which is my top 50, my 30 through 50 list, which I think will have a little more opportunity to go up. And then once you get into the top 100, that's my bottom tier. I'm not really interested in that right now because those may not survive the bear market that we're currently in, but they'll also have the greatest room to run. So I don't want to commit to that right now. I'd rather commit to ones that I feel more confident in. And again, that's all relative. I'm confident in their capability, but it's still not a guarantee, because we've seen, if you've been in the market for as long as Craig and I have, we've seen several that have fallen out of the top 10. I remember when EOS was a top 10 coin, not there anymore. And oh God, I hate that Tron is still in the top 10, but they're still hanging around, even though they're really not doing a whole lot. But there was a time when they were very highly touted, 2018 timeframe. Man, that was going to be the next big thing, and then kind of a whimper. So that's kind of my plan with the DCA. But the other part where I'm making the majority of the money right now is in the short term, the margin trades. So my rules for that right now is, first rule is I need to follow the rules. I need to stick with being patient and looking for good opportunities to get in. I have a plan. I'll look every morning. I'll look for the pullbacks. I'm using the charts, and I'm watching the RSI, and I'm getting in and getting out when I said I was going to do it. But the other thing is, don't panic when the ticker starts running. Man, it ripped down yesterday morning, and then yesterday afternoon, ETH blew up, and didn't panic. I did go long with it and hit a little 5% move up with it and got out, and it's bumped up a little bit higher since then, but I'm still watching. I'm currently in an ETH short, and if it goes up more than 1660, that's my get out point. But I may put some more in there if it breaks below 1590, because I'll be looking for it to push on down a little bit lower. But we'll see. It's just kind of bouncing right now. I think a lot of people are just waiting to see what happens. I know Jerome Powell talked this morning. It was a nothing burger. I kind of expected something from that this morning, but nothing really moved. I tried to front run the market a little bit earlier when that happened, when Jerome got on there. I thought, well, we may get a pullback if he's hawkish, but didn't have a whole lot of movement. So I scaled in, and so now I'm currently in there. So we get a good pullback, I'll be a happy camper. Another one is that it's okay to spot trade. You don't have to leverage everything just because you're going in to buy it. You don't have to over leverage yourself with it. If it's a long and it's something that I'm comfortable with in the asset, but I'm not 100% on my TA is not 100% with it, you could spot it, and if it goes up, then you'll hit it. You're just not going to make quite as much on it, and then you may be thinking, well, it may not be worth getting in. But that's what you're trying to weigh. That's the risk that you're looking at. Is it worth the reward? Is it really going to go up that much if you hit it? And if not, then you may just want to look for another trade. So that's another one, is there's always a trade out there. Don't get wrapped around the axle. You don't have to be in a trade all the time. Sometimes making money is not losing money. It's not being in a trade. Sometimes that's enough. Take your time, be patient, look for a good trade to get into, and think in percentages, don't think in dollars. And that kind of goes back to trading in spot too. If you can catch 2 or 3% on it, yeah, you would have made a whole lot more if you'd have 5x'd it. But if you weren't sure of it, well, maybe you should never been in it in the first place, but it's okay to go into it for a spot because your money's not lost until you sell. So if you're buying something that you think is going to go up eventually, hold on to it. You don't have to leverage everything because you definitely don't want to get liquidated. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Like I said, I've got another 100 that's going to hit today. That'll put me at $1,600 worth of gunpowder for me. That I've got roughly 1/3 invested into the long portion of it, the DCA, and then I've got I'll have $1,149 ready to unload into the short term. So, like I said, my plan is for the challenge is I've got some short term and some long term trades. I think that down the road I'll make an adjustment November, December, where I may start getting into using some of those bots like Craig has. He's currently down a little bit, but I think that long term, I think it'll be okay. I'm definitely going to look into that. So appreciate you guys listening in. Let's keep it up. We'll work through the rules, and I'll see if I can get Craig on to do a podcast only for what his plans are, and see if we can't get 2 in this week. Other than that, hey guys, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys later.